right now. We'll call this meeting to order at 4:08 p.m. on the 10th of May.
Very good. Okay.
No, roll call.
Okay. Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Councilmember Carter.
Present.
Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Present.
Mayor Hepburn.
Present.
Okay.
Do we have any public comments or anybody for public comment?
I did not get any, and JR did not make me aware of any. I will ask him to check before we adjourn to see if we receive any. I'm not monitoring it in here. He's monitoring it from his desk.
Okay.
So we have at this point.
We have none. Then we'll close public comment and move into the Oversight Committee measure LB applicant interviews. Mr. Rusty, you could take that if you'd like.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Yeah, as you know, there are two unexpired vacancies or terms for vacancies that council needs to consider applicants for. You have two applicants that are new applicants that are up for your interview today, Jennifer Simison and Joseph Galvadon. And then you have a third applicant that is still up for consideration from the prior pool of Ron Ingalls. So what council will do, we recommend you take interviews from the two candidates and then consider all three for the two positions. As we discussed, you're going to have to select one for the remaining term that ends next year and one that the term that ends in 2024, I think it was. I don't have the date in front of me, but it's the 3 year, yes, May of 2024. So you will have to identify which candidate will be selected for each. So unless there are any questions, I can bring in the first candidate for your interview.
Any questions, council? Are we good?
Okay.
I can't see everybody, so I think we're good to go.
Yes, I got thumbs up. I saw it. I'll be your eyes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm bringing Jennifer in now. Wait till she is with us. Still connecting. Jennifer, are you there? Jennifer, this is Bob Russi. Are you there? I can't hear you if you're trying to, if you are speaking.
Shows she's in, but it doesn't show her mic.
Yeah, that's what's kind of weird. I'm showing, yeah, that.
And it's no camera.
Yeah. Let's see. Jennifer, you can hear me. I'd suggest that you sign off and sign back on, and we try it again. Right. It's weird, it doesn't even show her mic for me to push it.
Yeah,
No.
I don't see
I'm
it.
gonna put her back in the waiting room and try it one more time. Let's see what happens here. Well, this is off to a great start.
We'll get it.
Admit. Try this one more time.
Yeah, I don't see her mic. It just shows her camera.
It's really weird.
Well, if push comes to shove, can she call in?
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Oh, wait, she's connecting to audio. I see it connecting.
Could be. Oh, there we go. No, did it come on?
No, she's
Yeah.
no, she's in. She's
It
in.
shows the mic.
She's in. She's just no camera, but she's in. Jennifer.
I was trying. I couldn't
There
hear
we
you. I
go.
heard me. I had Travis helping me.
Good thing this isn't for the Technology Oversight Committee. Otherwise,
Well, we'd all have Travis helping us.
Oh my gosh. Well, I saw you guys. I couldn't hear you, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to hear you yet. So I ran
You're
down
good.
with my phone to get Travis, and then you got him. So
Well,
Well-
Jennifer, thank you for being a part of this. We really appreciate you wanting to do this. And
thank you.
we're going to
Tim.
ask you, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes. Okay. We're going to ask you, Councilmember Lau is going to ask you a series of questions, and then you're going to. She has 3 minutes to give an overview of herself. Is that correct, Mr. Russi?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
Jennifer, you want to give us your information on you? I know you very well. Our kids were raised together, so we're like we're like family. So, but please, if you'd like to give us a 3-minute deal on what you and what you'd like to see and what about this committee.
So my 3-minute reasons on why I'd love to be on this committee, besides loving Laverne with all my heart and making sure it stays the community it is I honestly see something that I could be very good at financially, cost accounting, balancing government regulations, payables, receivables, insurances, prevailing wage, employee negotiations. It's all in my world of my CFO in our construction company for 42 years, with payroll every Friday for 42 years. So understanding cash flow, budgets, the hard part of making hard decisions of what you can and can't do falls right into the CFO's type of lap. And also pushing for the things that you really want to do and finding a way to make them work. Financially, I don't know why, but I clicked in this world and I love it. So even though I'm kind of retiring from our boys business, I'm excited to be back and help our city a lot. I worked with the PTA forever. I worked on city committees for the H, Proposition H, but I don't know if you guys were all here, but that was one of our first landscape bond that we passed with John Blickenstaff and I were working with that when I was with the PTA. I've worked on the DARE program with Chief Ingalls. We got that started in Laverne. I've been, I think the cool thing about me right now, besides being a grandma, is I have the senior community, all the women that we all were in the PTA together in the 80s and 90s. So many of us are still here. So I believe that community has faith in me since I was a president of the PTAs for 6 of the 12 years. Then I have my kids who are all here now, all of them, and they all moved back. So I have the youth group, I have the young adults, and then I have the grandbabies that are here. There's 7 of them in town. So I have a vested interest. And I think that the fact that our city passed this law, which is very supportive, or passed the tax, gives us such an opportunity to keep Laverne who it is. And I believe that if I'm on this committee and they know I'm going over finances and you hear all the things people complain about, I think with who I am and the friends I know and my neighbors and 42 years in town, I think people believe what I say when I say we're doing the right thing. I don't know how I lost you there.
No, we're here.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and start with the series of questions from Councilmember Lau.
Okay.
You're muted. Oh, there you go.
You're on mute.
Got you. Thank you. I just wanted to let you know there are 5 questions. And so we are trying to keep to a timeline because I think we need to conclude before 5 and we have another candidate coming. So just giving you fair warning on that one so you can appropriate your time.
Accounting's quick. It's black and white.
So the first question we have for you is, in your review of the guidelines for the committee, what is your understanding of the committee's role in the budget process?
Well, our role is being oversight, but it's also a role to make recommendations if there's like in the tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 is basically the money's already going to be appropriated to hiring the best employees you have with the city. But in tier 2, you have $500,000 to $600,000 worth of money that can do to enhance and go for the things that we did. So we can recommend during those things is what I see. But our oversight is to, like right now, you guys have cost accounting. You have one general fund, but you have an accounting line item for the income and expenses on the tax money. So that is 100% like we do in construction, because every project has different, but everything funnels out of a bank. So cost accounting, you're going to be able to give us the financials, and I'm going to be able to read the financials and understand what they need. So we're oversight, but we also have a small little thing in tier 2 where we can maybe have some input with the city and help support the city to get the things for the future.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And what do you see as some of the challenges that the committee might face?
Public grumpy, is this recorded? Wait. Public dissatisfaction with, sorry, I'm real. So people aren't happy with maybe not knowing what the money's going for. I think a big part of our job is to, the fact that the community passed the tax, that we need to communicate with them and help them feel that, yes, I'm glad I passed this tax. So part of it, even if I'm not having an accounting meeting, it's talking about the amazing things that we're able to accomplish with this tax, and thank you so much, and make them feel good that they passed the tax.
Okay, thank you. And you alluded to this a little bit in your introduction about some of the other committees and commissions you were on before, but talk to us about how you've worked to help build consensus with some of those groups when you've faced challenges.
Okay, so you're a PTA president of an elementary school or the council or Bonita High School, or you're on grad night, but a consensus, think of getting people to work for you for free. They donate their time, then you get them to volunteer, you get them excited about what they're doing without getting paid. So part of my always being the president, not that I burnt cookies all the time, right, Tim? But I had to be the president because I've been a leader, I've been a motivator. I motivate our company. Prior to all this, I was a ski instructor, but it's crazy. I motivated people to perform and be better. So I've always been, I ran the dorms, I ran college graduation. It's just sort of in me. So I think my most important thing is to make sure people feel good that we're doing the right thing.
Okay. And then being on a city committee, you're going to be required to disclose your economic interests, and that's going to be made available for public review. Is there anything in disclosing that you would be concerned about?
Public interest, can you explain that deeper?
So your economic interest would be subject to public availability. So basically you'd have to disclose your finances and your economics, much like we do in our forms.
Okay, so you mean like I'm having the city do something for me?
No, it's your own personal finances.
Oh,
so
fine.
Okay.
Everybody's got my finance. Yeah, all the banks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to be clear, we disclose if we own property in the city, right? So that there can be any
Canyon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And my house and my rentals, but we don't have any businesses in town.
Okay.
We don't have
our no issues with any of those disclosures.
No.
Okay. Perfect. As our last question, then, as a new committee, it'll be necessary. So this is a little bit wonky because you're filling in positions. So there's 2 terms that are being filled. One's a 1 year remaining, one's 3 years remaining. Do you have any problems with serving on, with the term limits on either? I know in the past, some people, had acknowledged that they didn't know if they could do a 4-year term. And do you have any concerns or commitments that might limit your ability to make meetings?
No. And 3-year term, 10-year term, 6-year term, I'm fine. We're not leaving town. I don't know where we go. We just can't find a place like where we live. So I don't see a problem with that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
All right.
Take care. Tell everybody I said hi.
I will. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Rick.
Okay. Move. Meeting room. Okay. Any discussion about it? You want to bring in Mr. Galvadon and just go straight to the next one?
Yes, straight to the next one. Is that good, council? Straight to the next one?
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Bring him in now. Mr. Galvadon, can you hear us?
I think so. Did I click the right button?
There you are.
Right.
How you doing, Mr. Gabaldon? Good evening. Thank you for actually wanting to do this again. I didn't use it the first time around. Basically, we're going to give you like 3 minutes to just explain your own self as far as why you'd like to be on this committee, and then you'll be asked 5 questions from Councilmember Lau, and then we'll make our review and then our decision. Are you ready, sir?
I think I'm ready.
You go right ahead,
Well,
please.
I don't want to read off a piece of paper, so I'm not going to do that. I think that the reasons why I'm interested in being a member of the committee is because, not just because I've been a resident of Laverne for about 25 years now, but I truly believe in what Laverne stands for. And my background in business and what I do today, I think it's really important that there's transparency for those that entrust their money with others. And I think that the citizens of Laverne really deserve a great committee that believes in that as their first priority. Because I think when the city was asked to support the measure, I believe that they put their trust in the city council and everybody behind the council, that money that was going to come out of their pocket was going to go to do the right things for the city of Laverne. And I believe that the resolution itself, it outlines very well that, Laverne is only as good as Laverne continues to be and has been. And I think everything that was in that resolution, it basically explained that if you keep Laverne great, people will want to continue to live in Laverne, to support Laverne, to contribute to Laverne. And I truly believe in that. I want the Laverne that I know, not to stay static, but to continue to live in that spirit in the future. And I think that when you're talking about collecting additional use tax,
We have a freeze up.
Yeah.
To take out of the pockets did go to the right things and will continue to go to the right things. And I support that wholeheartedly. And I believe that my background, generally speaking, supports the ability to audit that, to proactively participate as a team member on a committee for how any variations of whether projected revenue from the tax would impart change to spend policy or planning, because it all makes a difference. And I believe that recently, I'm not sure where I heard it or saw it, but that the city has actually seen an increase in what the revenue expectations were. And that's a great thing. And I suspect that that'll help the city continue to do what it wants to do to make a better Laverne possible. But it can go the other way too. And I think those are the qualifications of somebody who sits in this committee. They have to understand the implications of pluses and minuses to any projections and how, the next year may lay out and the year after that. And I feel that my background is perfectly suited to be able to help the team understand where those ebbs and flows are and participate in, tough decisions too sometimes.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Lau will be asking you 5 questions. And Councilmember Lau, are you ready?
I'm ready. Just as Mayor Hepburn indicated, there are 5 questions. And so just want to give you that heads up so you can apportion your time accordingly. So our first question to you is, in your review of the guidelines of the committee, what is your understanding of the committee's role in the budget process? Did he freeze again?
Okay, I'm gonna try to turn up my volume a little bit because I'm gonna hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
you seem to be
You were
freezing up a
freezing
little
a
bit.
little.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. That might have been my internet then. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do you want me to repeat the question or did you hear it okay?
Council, I think he froze again. I might suggest that if he turns off his video, sometimes that helps if you're okay
Yeah.
with that.
Sure.
Okay.
Are you guys still there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were saying you might want to turn your video off because it might be just pulling too much of your internet strength. If you're okay with that, or are you okay now?
I'm
We can see you now.
okay with it. If you're okay with it, I'll do that for a second and see how it works. Okay, and then I'll come back in at the end.
Sure.
Okay. She'll go ahead and, did you get the first question, Mr. Gabaldon?
I did not. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm going to
she'll
turn off the
repeat it.
video, and here we
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So let's do this again. So the first question is, in your review of the guidelines for the committee, what is your understanding of the committee's role in the budget process?
I think the role, primarily as it's detailed when it was conceived, is to ensure that all the monies generated as a result of the measure are used specifically as outlined in the ordinance and as directed by the city council and the city manager for those attributes of the city that we want to maintain and ensure our
Looks like we lost him again.
Yeah, I think so. See if he can call in.
I think that would be a good idea because this is not working well.
Internets are challenged everywhere right now.
Well, it's just so many people are using them. My goodness, the bandwidth just, it's like a straw, turning a straw and twisting it 13 times.
And he just got dropped out. Okay, JR's going to try and get his number to call him and just do a call in.
Okay.
So, it's just 1 minute. Sorry.
No worries. Grace is what we need to think about right now.
my back.
You're back. We can hear you.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. Obviously, not a very good impression.
Well,
but
that's okay. Believe me, we've all been facing this. We were trying to call in that maybe on a cell phone. Bob, he's back on again.
Okay. Do you want to?
Mr. Gabaldon, would you mind if we called you and went on a call?
Yeah, sure. That would be fine. I was going to switch to my cell phone if the connection was better, but do you have my phone number?
Is it the last 4, 9718?
You can use that number. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll call that
Call you right now.
Okay. Okay, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, and I'm gonna mute your Zoom for the moment. Okay, there you go. Council, can you hear Joe? Go ahead and speak.
I'm here.
Can you hear him?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Councilmember Lau, go ahead.
I don't know if you had a chance to finish the end of what you were saying to the first question. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and summarize, because I think you got cut off right as you were wrapping.
Got it. Well, I can certainly summarize it. I said a lot, but bottom line is that the role of the committee is to ensure that the expected revenues, additional revenues from the use tax that are generated from measure are being used in accordance with the resolution that was passed, and how those monies, as in the eyes of the council and the city management, see fit to ensure the sustainability of the vision of Laverne. So, and the requisite services that are very important to the citizens.
Okay, thank you. The second question is, what do you see as some of the challenges that the committee might face?
I think that one of the things that I spoke to earlier would be one thing that I think would be a challenge, is that with any business or any entity that is dependent on revenue, which is pretty much everybody, is that you make projections based on either your business revenue and what you sell, or in this case, the revenues that you expect to generate from the tax. And when there's any deviations from that, particularly to the negative side, decisions have to be made relative to what the available money, the actuals can go to in line with the guidelines that are set forth And I think that's the hardest part of any job is when you have X amount of money to spend, that's a budget. And I think the actuals are critical to, you know, maintaining the promises to the citizens of Laverne, but also they have to come with realistic expectations that if the monies are not generated as planned, that other compromises might have to be made. And in the way I think, solutions to those problems. It's not always a compromise. It's just perhaps you have to come at it with a different perspective so that you can, you know, ensure that the services that are important to the city, what have you, that nothing is undermined by less tax revenue, but that you find alternatives to mitigate those issues in that lessened revenue stream and you know, present those solutions to the committee and subsequent to everybody above that.
Thank you. Question 3 is, can you provide some examples of where you may have worked on a committee or a commission previously where you've helped to build consensus with the team?
I didn't hear that last part, but I'm going to guess at what I heard. First of all, I have not, admittedly, worked on any committees within this city or that of another. But I've sat on many boards and executive management teams where my experience in financial compliance is fairly extensive, and the budgeting of millions of dollars towards, you know, whether it's business objectives from a revenue standpoint, or in the opposite, the cost centers and how they impact the viability of a business. In this case, would be the city. And it's a little bit of a similar answer that I'd have to the last question, which is at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand the numbers that you're looking at, how it is they're intended to serve the public, the citizens of Laverne, and have the aptitude to be able to understand where the solutions lie in the problems. Because you know, if there were no problems, there wouldn't be any need for a committee or worrying about taxes, but invariably things come up.
Okay, thank you. And question number 4 is, serving on a city committee, you'll be required to disclose your economic interests, and those will be made available for public review. Is there anything in any such disclosure that you would be concerned about being made public?
I have no concerns about providing that information.
Okay, thank you. And our last question to you is, as a new committee, you may know that these are appointments due to losing 2 of our prior committee members. So one's for the remainder of 2-year terms, so 1 year, and then the other one's for a remainder of a 4-year term, which is a 3-year term. So would you be willing to serve just no matter which term you were selected to fulfill, if selected? And do you have any concerns or commitments that might limit your ability to make meetings?
I have no limitations in my availability to serve on this committee. And either of the 2 terms I would be satisfied with, albeit my intention is that to not start something I won't finish. And my sincerest belief is that not necessarily to the degree that 2 4-year terms is goal, but having the stability of the members of the committee over the long run is always best practice, because it allows for more common train of thought and processes that are reliable, whether they be auditing or just team spirit, so to speak. So while I understand one or the other is available, I'm open to both, but I would love to serve as long as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabaldon, very much.
You're welcome.
We're gonna move back to the council and Mr. Russi.
Yep, hang on, let me pick Joe up. Joe, goodbye. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and then I will move him out here. There we go. Okay. All All right, and I have checked with JR. Let me see. Let me go confirm with him that there hasn't been any public comment. You want to see if there's any public comment at this time, I assume?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. He doesn't text me back. Let me go check with him. Be sure. There is no public comment.
Okay, well, we actually closed public comment, but now we'll go to, let's go to our rating system, Mr. Russi.
Yeah, so you have your force rating sheet, which I think council has a copy of that from last time, so you're familiar with it. My suggestion, that you can choose to do what you want, is how you wish, but is do your top two and see where we end up at that point for each of you. And then we take whichever those two are, and then we can go from there on selection of term.
Okay. Who would like to start? Mr. Davis.
Sure, I'll go ahead and throw my hat in the ring. I just want to generally say that it's, I wish we could find a position for all of our candidates. I think the quality of individuals who step up and want to participate in our community is really outstanding. So I just want everybody to know that there really aren't any losers. We just have limited availability for spots to put people. So we may have to become creative ourselves in finding more committees for people to participate in, because we have a lot of solid individuals and residents in our community.
If I may, before, just to that point, because I know council had asked me prior to about the possibility of an alternate given the circumstance, and we did check with the city attorney. And while we could identify one that could direct me to give preference to that person, should there be an opening, you would still be required to put it out, at least leave it open for the minimum, which I think is 10 days to the public. So it wouldn't necessarily say that they couldn't have that spot, but you couldn't just automatically assume that they were moved into that spot if that were the case.
Well, and I've been alternate a few times in my life. And so I guess my perspective on the alternate is just to say that we'll pick two, and should an opening appear somewhere, we'd invite whoever doesn't make it onto this committee along with any other resident to apply. But that's just my perspective on that. The hang on and we might call you part can be a bit challenging. So that's just my own flavor for that. But my top two candidates, for a number of reasons, but I think primarily under the realm of consensus and consensus building and facing the challenges of the committee, are Jennifer Simison and Ron Ingalls.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. Councilmember Carter.
Yes, I'll go next. My two choices are Ron Ingalls and Joe Gabaldon.
Thank you, Councilmember Carter. Councilmember Lau.
My two are Jennifer Simison and Ron Ingalls.
Mr. Crosby, Councilmember Crosby.
My two are Ron Ingalls and Mr. Gabaldon.
And mine are Jennifer Simison and Mr. Gabaldon.
Okay. So we have 4 votes for Ron Ingalls, and then 3 votes each for Jennifer and Joe. So
Let's create one extra position.
So that just supports my notion that we have high quality individuals as residents here in Laverne.
Again,
Exactly.
I like to, Councilmember Davis, agree with you there.
I totally agree. We got some major qualifications. I've known Jennifer for as long as I've lived here, and Mr. Gabaldon I've met many times. Mr. Ingalls I've known for years. So we do have some talented pool there. So okay, so we've got 4 for Ron, 3 for Jennifer, and 3 for Joe. Is that correct, Mr. Russi?
yes, so My suggestion, if you would, is we obviously move Ron is one of the ones selected, and then we go back and put the other two in and just do a revote just based on those two candidates and one vote per council member.
Okay. Then we should go back to council. Let's start in the same order we started in, which was Mr. Davis. Councilmember Davis.
I will stay with my second vote, which who is Jennifer Simpson.
Mr. Davis. Then we will go to Councilmember Carter.
Yes, I will go with Joe Gabaldon.
And then we will go to Councilmember Lau.
And I will go with Jennifer Simison.
We'll go to Mr. Crosby.
Joe Gabaldon. So it's up to you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor goes for Jennifer Simison.
Okay.
Now we have to pick the term. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Let's go in reverse order. Let's go with Mr. Crosby.
The number one vote, I believe, should go with the 4 people that voted for him, Mr. Ingalls, for the 4 years.
That's what I was going to suggest as well, to go by votes.
I'm not opposed to that. Okay.
I
Then
concur with that as well.
decided. Yeah, you're okay. Is all council okay with that?
Yep.
Great. Mr. Russi?
I have that, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to put it all in the form of a motion if I could for you so that we can just take this as an action today. So I'm going to say that the recommendation is that Ron Ingalls be appointed to the remaining 3-year term through May of 2024, and Jennifer Simison be appointed to the term ending May of 2022, which is of course next year, and that they be seated as the oversight board in those. And I'm looking for a motion and a second to that.
I have one question before we do the motion. For just total disclosure, is there any conflict with Jennifer's son being Jason Simonson on the planning commission?
No, that you can have different members of the household serving on different. That's fine.
Before we do this, there was talk regarding putting someone on basically on a waiting list. We're going to table that. We're just going to go with these two, and then if a vacancy occurs, then we'll go ahead and do the same thing we've just done and ask for open enrollment or people that want to apply for that. Is that correct? Are we all in concurrence with that?
And inviting back people who had applied previously to be considered.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say Mr. Galvadon would be called first to say if he's still interested. We still have to put it out, but we would contact him. And if he was, we would just advance his application without him having to go through a reapplication process.
Are we all in concurrence with that, council? Council, we're all in concurrence? Okay, very good. Let's move with the motion. I need first on the motion.
I'll make the motion to approve what Bob said.
Do I have a second? Second, someone?
Muir and Wendy.
Rick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick. Sorry.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, we do a roll call. Mr. Russi?
Yes. Councilmember Lau.
Aye.
Councilmember Crosby.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Hepburn.
Yes.
Perfect.
Congratulations to 2 members and Mr. Gabaldon. I'm sure they'll be, in the future, but thank you for applying. Your qualifications are amazing like everyone else, but there will be more committees, as Mr. Davis had said, that we'll be having more committees, and there could be a vacancy on this one also. But thank you all for applying.
And I will,
any other business to attend to, Mr. Russi?
not that I have at this time. I was just going to say I'll make contact with the individuals, let them know the date of our next meeting and send them an official letter of their position. So we'll get that taken care of.
Thank you, council, everybody's for your effort today, and thank you, staff, for putting this together. We will adjourn at 4:47 p.m. and our next regular city council meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 17th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good week.
We have the study session.
Yes.
I'm sorry that didn't put it on here, but study session at 4:30 on our budget before the council meeting
Yes.
on May 17th.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody.